I want to introduce you to a romantic story. We are all romantics in our hearts. So listen to the story of Leopoldine the Beautiful. To find the other is to look within. Gaze in a mirror. You will see your twin. Duty divides itself into two in order to experience joy, passions, controversy, and adventure. Tears and laughter alternate with heavenly visions of perfection, won through trial, courage, and compassion. Deity manifests as loving mothers and fathers through all that is. However, the whole company of heaven alarms us by being creators, presumably our own creators. We have to be reminded sometimes that divine love is within us all, because we are part of the very mind of the Divine Father, the substance of the Divine Mother. So we too are eternal, travelling through time and place, which exists forever. We share love, learning to look after all our varied companions, animal, insect, plant, on our earth. For we are learning to be creators. How do we distinguish between divine love and the creative process? One of the most moving of true life stories was told to me by my friend, the artist Desmond McCarthy. For me, it unravelled the enigma of Gnosticism. Before the Second World War, Desmond had a job in London working in an office. Now, there's always someone in an office who's both liked and laughed at, a scapegoat. The victim in this case I shall call Kevin. He illustrated the unkind joke in a cartoon of a psychiatrist addressing a timid patient in a bagging suit. You have not an inferiority syndrome, you are inferior. How many of us feel that inside? Desmond noticed especially the ridiculous, ill-fitting wig Kevin wore to cover his scanty hair. No girl in the office would look at him. Then suddenly his status shot up. He acquired a girlfriend. His whole attitude changed. He found his fellow workers chatting to him in lunch hour. They wanted to hear him describe Leopoldine. Leopoldine was attractive, even beautiful, in an unusual way. She was amusing, but kindly, and she was always having adventures, but survived them with unfailing good humour. Obviously, Kevin was overcome by winning Leopoldine's affections. He kept saying, "I don't know why a girl like that goes out with me." Desmond was worried. A glamorous girl like Leopoldine might break Kevin's heart by rejecting him for a more successful boyfriend with money and position. Surely she would fail and fall for a sophisticated man offering expensive restaurants, a grand holiday. At first things were looking good. Kevin and Leopoldine went for a holiday together. This was marvellous. Desmond was touching wood. He was really fond of Kevin and couldn't bear the thought of his being cruelly hurt. I think it was this very compassion for Kevin that led to Desmond's rising suspicion of Leopoldine. Was she an adventuress, the sort that leads men on to amuse herself, to torment them? No. His suspicion was far, far more grave. Did Leopold exist? I do not mean that he suspected her of being a spirit of some sort. No. Stranger still, had Kevin created her? No one else had any such misgivings. Leopoldine was to them a real person. But Desmond's doubts were confirmed. One day, casually glancing through the Financial Times, he noticed on a back page, "Shares in Leopoldine Mines." This was a Belgian mining company, obviously called after King Leopold. Naturally, Desmond never breathed a word about his suspicions. He had no proof anyway. So it was not his fault that led to poor Leopold's falling very ill. The whole office was deeply concerned. Finally, the awful climax came. Leopold was dead. Kevin was inundated with sympathy. Desmond now was really worried. If Kevin had killed Leopoldine, whom he had created, he must be in despair. Desmond followed his career with concern. It ended perfectly. Kevin, he told Desmond, had been travelling in a railway carriage one day and found himself facing a very attractive woman. They fell into conversation. She revealed that she was no less than a hairdresser. Warmly she recommended him to come to her salon in a neighbouring town and to invest in a really modern wig. He accepted the offer. So, in a short while, Kevin walked into the office wearing a very smart wig that toned in with his natural colouring. And his friends were so relieved to learn that he had recovered from the sad loss of Leopoldine. He was engaged to be married to the hairdresser. They duly were married, and Desmond and his fellow office workers attended the wedding, Desmond as best man. Now, this is what fascinates me. Did Kevin, like Pygmalion, create Leopoldine, who became alive as the hairdresser? Or, through his ardent longing, had he found his true love through no less than the goddess of love herself, Venus? A thought came to me. You see, my friend Desmond was a magician, a healer. Had he himself produced the hairdresser, inspired by Venus? What do you think?